Howdy, y'all. This is Jeremy with BridgeCom Systems. Going to come to you live tonight, try to help you do some band error fixing that comes across. And I kind of got a little ahead of myself and didn't unmute quick enough. But I want to say good evening to everybody. And before I get started, I'd just like to take a moment. All of our neighbors, our friends, our family members, our fellow hams, first responders, keep them in your thoughts and prayers with this devastation of Hurricane Ian that has passed over the state there. I know it's a lot of heartache going on. There's been a lot of flooding. Last count I had was like 200,000 without power. I'm sure it's well over that now. If anybody has their radios, there's Talk Group 3199. That is the Hurricane Net. You will be able to hear the live broadcasts from the Hurricane Forecast Center and be able to stay up with the up to date of what's being affected and where. That way, you can kind of keep tabs on your family members and loved ones in those areas. So, without further ado, we're going to give a shout out to some folks here. Hey, Gus, W9GUS. Still, I like that call sign. We got Dave, W8DMM from Ohio. We've got Dave and Sue. Let's see who else we got in the house here. We got Jimbo, KF4ED. We got Steel Wolf in the house. KJ6CSE. Howdy, howdy, howdy. We've got Timothy. Looks like in Dayton. Hey, Bill, KF4CDK from the great state of Louisiana. Hopefully, everything down there. Next time I'm down in that neck of the woods, I'm going to have to stop and get some good shrimp and crawfish. We got George here. KE6EPC. We have Pamela, N1ZKH. And we got Mr. Royce in the house as well. Hey, Royce, long time no see. We've got David Cantrell, K5DLD, Conroe, Texas. Here's one from Florida. Tim, I hope all is well. November 1, Kilo Oscar Foxtrot. We have Kevin in the house. Kilo Foxtrot 0, India, Quebec, Yankee. Well, that's a mouthful trying to say that on a DX competition, I bet. We've got Todd, KE8WAR from Georgia. We've got John, WB5KIC. Well, hopefully this show right here will help you get some of that confusion out of the way. If not, myself and the techs, more than happy to help you try to find your way through the journey. We have Michael, VE8YI. We have Marvin, KF5MPL. Hey, there's Jerry. I hope everything is good down there in Port Orange. We've got George, KI5TXX. And both of those are excellent radios. We have Barry, KB8BW. We got one from Rochester, N2UIUO. Hey, we got Mr. Richard, K83JCA. Hey, I'm not the only one in the house now. Whew, I thought y'all were going to let me down. Hey, Mr. Freddie, where's all my Okies at? KD5FMU. We have KM6 YDV from Springfield, Oregon. We got Joe from Iowa, Alpha Echo 5, Echo India. We got Larry, KB1RIJ. Hey, here's one at the home office. KF0DRG, Smithville, Missouri. Hey, Robert. Got a lot more in here. We're at 147. All right, folks, this is my first time to have the show solo. I'm shooting for over 200. I've always been told go big or go home. So let's top 200. We're going to have some good time tonight. We're going to be able to learn one of the biggest things to take that thorn out of the side of being able to fix that band error as you get it, changing your code plug, changing some frequencies that you may have, or even doing some of the talk groups. Let's roll, Mr. Ron. We've got another one from the Kansas area, KE0EIG. Mr. Roy. Yep, hammer's still good. Let's see here. Hey, a buddy of mine, Mr. Garnett Musser, KN4UTR down there in Dade City, Florida. I hope everything is still good with you down there in the family. We got Bob Edwards, VK2TME. Let's see who else we got here in the house. We got Jim NK2J from Mesa, Arizona. All right. And Mr. Greg Corbett, Paris Landing, Tennessee. Howdy out yonder. All right, folks. What we're going to do is I know how frustrating this can get. You're writing your code plug, and then that little window that pops up right before everything gets finished and says, failed band error. So what we're going to do, we're going to give this a whirl here and see if I can manipulate the screens here and not mess up. If I do, please forgive me. All righty. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. All right. Got it working now. All right. We're going to open up the CPS. You read the radio. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to come up to your SETCOM. And I don't want to read yet. We're going to make sure that our radio is plugged in securely. Radio was turned on. Programming cable is all secure in both ends. We're going to go ahead and read our data. And no, I don't want to save these. For me, I don't do digital contacts when I'm reading, especially if I'm doing a change, because every time that I hook up to the computer, I'm going to go ahead and put a fresh digital contact list onto the radio. That way I've got the latest and greatest. All righty. Now that we've got data complete, what you'll do now is go over to export. Most folks And most little sites that I see that give advice on being able to repair this issue, they always go to this export all. Well, whenever you do that, whatever was corrupted originally in the code plug that caused your error is going to be contained in that all file. So to get past it, you're going to go through on every one of these and basically name it. Yes, I want to overwrite. Same thing with the radio ID. For those that have called and got to speak to me on the helpline, I always use the acronym. I'm going to keep everything simple. And that way it sticks and you don't have to sit there and guess, what am I doing? What am I doing? Most of these I've already done before. So I'm just going to run over these real quick. You'll go channel, radio ID, zone, scan list if you have any, talk groups. Make sure you pull those over. The other thing that you want to look at is if you have any received group call list. If you're on a alert system on some of the towers that are out there, you can pull over your APRS. So you can type that in there real quick as well. May take it a minute to transfer over. Same thing goes for your roaming zones, your roaming channels. You can go ahead and put those in here as well. I do not have any, so I'm not going to transfer that over. Any of your hotkeys, this is where you can bring those over. Those of us that are in volunteer service, whether you be a volunteer firefighter, volunteer EMT, this is where you could bring over the quick call systems that you have existing on your radio so you can use it while you're on the shift. Once you get what you're wanting to get pulled over, you're going to click on export. Now, I will go ahead and give you a heads up. When you click on this, you may get the message where it isn't doing anything, or you click on it again and it says not responding. Be patient, guys. It's converting. I've been told anywhere from a gig and a half to 2.5 gigs of data. That is all in those lists that you just ported over individually into the file. But once it does complete, that window will pop up and it'll say import complete. At that point, what we're going to do is we're going to go to file and new. No, I am not going to save any of these. Yes, it will be reset. That's what I'm going for. Here's 2 basic frequencies that are going to be entered on the radio by default. One thing that you're going to have to double check, make sure there is a zone. This doesn't have to be anything special. I move those 2 over, and then I'll also go down here and check and make sure there is a radio ID. If you try to write it without one, it's going to tell you that an error, it's got to have a radio ID. So what I'm going to do is enter a default 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it'll automatically pop up the name of radio ID 1. I'm going to click OK. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and shrink that, and we're going to write this to the radio. There again, I am not going to do digital contacts. Write data completed, goody, goody, goody. So now when I open it up, we're still looking at this. You'll go to tools, down to import. This is going to pop up every time you go to import. I tell all my customers to click OK. And it will take a minute to pop up the box of your import data that you want to bring over. There again, there's the import all. Instead of that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to select those files that I have already moved over. And those will always be right here in your downloads, is where they normally go, I should say. Not normally, but 9 times out of 10. So I'm doing my channels first. I'll go over to radio ID. I'm going to go to zones. And I'm going to do my talk groups. And I'll want to do my APRS. Now with these in here, I will click now import. Now this is going to take it a smooth minute, depending on how much data you're bringing over. And then here will be all of your channels that you imported, your zones, and all of my APRS data, just like they were when I pulled them over from the other radio. So now, when you go to write, I'm just going to write my other data. Okay, now like I said before, when I do this, I never do my digital contacts right off the bat doing the import-export, because at this time, it's when I'm going to open up a browser and I'm going to go to radio ID. And I'm going to download me a very fresh copy of that digital contact CSV. And while I'm waiting on my browser to catch up to me, if you like what we're putting forward, if you are liking the content that we're bringing, please, please, please click that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the page here. That lets us know that you are taking what we're giving out and using it, putting another tool in the toolbox so you can succeed with your journey here. Well, that's not wanting to go, so. Well, well, well. There are more than one way to skin a cat now. I'll just move another window right here that's already got it pulled up. Yes, we want to continue. I'm going to go over here to database and data dump. Now, this is where a lot of folks out there get confused on where we get them. This is where I've always gotten my digital contact list. I'm sure there's like 2 others out there that have this data, but Radio ID is the one that's going to be up to date, on point at all times. So you're going to click on user CSV file. As you can tell, I've already got 2 more on my computer, so it's going to come up with just the next number in sequence. We're not going to open this. We're going to go ahead and bring up our CPS again. You'll go to Tool, down to Import. That box pops up again. Just click OK. And we're waiting on the computer to catch up to me now. Good Lord. It must think it's Friday. So now that we're up here in the import box, here's where we're going to do the digital contacts. And we're going to select that user file that just downloaded and import it. And here's where we're going to have to do the little wait. Now, one thing while this is doing that, I just want to give y'all a little information that if you haven't already, please go to our website and take a look at the new toy that's going to be coming out. That way, everybody can get up on the latest, greatest toy. This will be going live Friday for you to be able to check it out on our website. That way, you can go ahead and get your pre order in line. So when they start shipping, you can have yours secured. And also, while we're doing that as it is, if you need any more information, here's the main line. Give us a call. We'll be able to help you out with whatever it needs. That's 816-532-8451. Now, to get over here to the tech support side, here's our direct line, 636-264-2325. Once again, 636-264-8325. All right, now we got the import complete box. We're going to go ahead and click on OK. And we're going to go ahead and write the data. This time is when I'm going to make sure and double check that I have my digital contacts checkbox marked. And the data part will go pretty quick. Here's where it's going to go slower than cold molasses. And also, I know everybody is already going to ask, but kind of beat you to the punch. If you have any questions, don't forget that this week we do have our show notes. That way, I know I went through it a little quick. If you need to be able to go through step by step, I have those in the link down below. And it will go over just exactly what I've done. Also, at the same time that you're doing that, don't forget that you entered your giveaway information. That way you can be in the runnings for the prizes tonight. And while we're waiting on this data to go ahead and write, if you've got any questions, go ahead and throw it up into the comments here, and we'll go ahead and try to get some of those knocked out. Jeff asked about the master class, and it's actually in the process. I have not got a date of when they'll have it released, but they are almost to the finishing stage to get it posted. Farrell Brown. I have a question as to where I can download the free database for the United States or at least the Southeast to input their RT3. The database, are you asking about the digital contact list or talk groups? If you could comment which one you're looking for, I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. I'm not seeing any more questions in the comment list, so Well, Paul, I agree. You're never too late if you're sitting here getting everything you need in the end. Plus, you've got the show notes below. That way, it'll help you out. What the talk group for hurricane monitoring? U.S. Hurricane Net talk group on Brandmeister is 3199. Once again, 3199. Miss Kathy asked, is there an easy way to add that talk group? The easiest way that I can tell you is to add it in the CPS as a channel and be able to add it to a zone at that point. Otherwise, it'll be a direct dial of what you have in your radio. Here's a question from Jay. One of the tech support guys said my band error was caused by a bad scan list file. How can I create an empty scan list file so it works? So, Jay, the best way that I can advise on that one is if you come up here to your scan list, and it won't let me because this one is still writing. But when you click on scan list, it'll have every scan list in the radio. You can go through and delete those, write to the radio. And then when you read from the radio after it is written, you can go through and add a scan list. Now, you also have to make sure that that scan list is included on the channel that you're wanting to place in that list. That way, the radio can see it. And as soon as this finishes out, I will show you on the screen of the process of that. I just won't do the read and write. Otherwise, we'll be sitting here for another almost 66% worth.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, there's Adam, graced us with his presence.
Out and about, but I just wanted to check in with you guys, see how everyone's doing. Say thank you guys for coming today. We will continue this, as you see, with whether or not we're here. We're still learning to bring you guys better stuff. Just wanted to say that we're going to have our DMR workshop coming out soon. We're going to also have the Bluetooth mic, I believe, on Friday. So if you guys want to, make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you like and subscribe down below. And we are going to have the giveaway ending here soon. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys enter that giveaway. We're giving away an 878 today, as well as a free year to our BridgeCom Plus. So make sure you guys get a hold of that. Take advantage.
Well, how's the trip over there, boss man?
It's a lot of fun. Just we got Miami next, so we're going to be going over into the hurricane here in the next day.
Well, you be careful going over in that neck of the woods. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of water.
Yeah. Yes. I have access to it. Yep.
All right. Well, we gained a little headway, 87% now. That's just an indication that the digital contact list that is getting put in here is rather large. Let's see here. While we're waiting on that one, Roger asked, how to convert a commercial to amateur code plug. You could follow this same line, but change the mode of the radio if that is what you're asking.
Well, actually, you could export all the data and then create a new one. And then just change the mode he wants.
Yeah. Hey, Adam, Steve has got a good point for you. Watch out for them gators.
They didn't bug us last time we were there last week, so.
David Wall's got one, and I'm trying to figure out. Dave, if you could be a little bit more specific, how you can prevent the cops from overriding your analog file already in the radio, I'm not understanding.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah. Eric, for the UV2, if you select analog APRS mute, does that mean you won't hear any data over the air and it won't decode the data? It'll still decode the data. It just knock the noise coming out of the speaker, unless you want to hear that kind of like a 56K dial-up modem. But it still will decode it. Let's see. Hey, we finally got it right. Complete. Hot dogs, looky here. Now, for those that were asking for the scan list, this is where you would enter it. So I'm going to put one in here, and I'm going to name this, let's say, home. Now, let me make it where I can even see it. So in here, as you can see, I've got some in here that are my local emergency channels that I like to monitor. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm just going to move all of those over into this area. Now, when they're here does not mean they're in a scan list yet. So once you click OK, you're going to have to come back over to those channels individually. And not 285, not 27. All right. Now, here's where you're going to look here. I have it for PCSO. And I'm going to go under scan list, and I'm going to select home. Now, that channel is going into the scan list I have created for home. And you're going to have to do it on every one of them that you want to move over. And so, do a little couple more I've got here. Wrong box. There we go. There's home. State fire. I'll move over. All right. That's all of those channels that are right in here that are now part of my scan list is home. So now that I have that, you can write it to the radio, and that will create your scan list. The only thing you'd have to do is if you've got a hotkey set up or one of the key functions over here in optional settings is where you could set up the key function. Let's say I'm going to do PF2 or P2 as my scan. So now when I touch P2 short key, it's automatically going to start my scan list. And the way it's going to do it is going to look for my scan list that I've created, which is right here. Now, if I have multiple scan lists, I'll have to go through the scan list menu on the radio and select which list I want it to scan. But what I've learned, if you only have one list, that will be the list it will actually start scanning from. So I'm hoping that helped you on that question. And Eric, I'm hoping I helped you with the one that you posed about the noise that you're getting. Okay. David replied a little bit more detail. Well, I'm not exactly sure how to state that I had an analog file, and then I used the CPS and I accidentally overread all the files in the code plug and everything else. You have to separate all that. If you overwrote that code plug that you had in your radio originally, it is essentially gone. unless you backed it up prior to writing. If you backed it up, then you can actually go back and load that CPS file or code plug file into the CPS and do any changes and write it to the radio. But if you didn't save it, it's essentially gone. And James Pratt asked about sending for warranty work. If you will give us a call tomorrow on the tech line, one of the techs or myself will be more than happy to get an RMA started, unless it's an issue that we can fix and save you from having to do an RMA. There's the number 636-264-8325, and that comes directly over here to the tech line. All right, let's see here. Dave says radio is 400 to 450. My CPS is 420 to 480. When I write the code plug, I get band error. How do I change my radio to 400 to 480? Now, the
He's trying to
big
change
question,
to commercial, it looks like.
yeah, that's what was going to be my question. Dave, are you actually trying to use amateur, or are you trying to go into commercial band? See if we can get a response from him. That'll help answer the question that we have.
Now, while we wait for that answer, just so everyone knows, you can receive everything in the commercial band. You just cannot transmit in the commercial band through the amateur radio. So keep that in mind if you're trying to use it as like a scanner or listen on certain frequencies. You can do that. So you can actually put in those frequencies and listens, but you will not be able to actually transmit on those. You will get a TX frequency error.
Yeah. It's just like I've got these here. All of my response agencies around here. This is Pontotoc County Sheriff's Office. If you can tell, this is in the commercial band at 154. But I put my transmit frequency as 148 even, and I'm going to put PTT prohibit. I'm not going to be able to talk to it if I want to, because I'm not even in a commercial band, but I'm going to make sure that my PTT prohibit is turned on. That also prevents that maybe accidental key up and causing a lot of grief. So that's the reason I do that. Speaking of, I need to go ahead and fix the rest of them I moved over. I caught myself here. And whenever you're doing these quick changes, all you got to do is make the change on the first one and hit next. As long as they're in the same sequence. If they're not, then you'll have to go hunting through your channel list to make sure you're getting the right ones over. Oh. All right. Now that we've got that, hopefully I answered everybody's question on that one. Let's see. We got any others here? Here we go. Here's a good one. Todd, we do support our AnyTones. That's what we sell. So therefore, that's what we're going to support. But if you have a question over a DMR radio, and it's like a how to make sure everything goes right, give us a call. We can give real basic stuff when it comes to some of the troubleshooting. But as far as being able to assist you with walk through the CPS, we're not going to be able to give that much more insight. All right. Once again, everybody, don't forget about the giveaway. It's winding down so we can reach in the big bag of names and pull a name out here. Rich Critcher. Can a channel be part of more than one scan list? Yes, you can. For instance, I can go up here and there's my mouse. I can click on this one and let's say I want to do my 2 local repeaters, add my UHF, and let's say I want to hear State Fire. Let's see, who else do I want to hear? And County Fire. Now, as long as I put my local repeaters, 8028527 and the UHF, in this scan list, it's going to go ahead and add State Fire and County Fire to this one. Because there's sometimes that I want to hear all of my local area responders. Reason I choose these two is kind of live out in the sticks, and I'd like to hear if there's something that's down the road at my neighbor's place. Hopefully that helps give you some pathway there. All right. Still Wolf. I had my code plug working at one point. Now I'm not hearing talk groups, nor does disconnect seem to work. What would be the common setting to check or reset? Are you running through a local repeater or are you running through a hotspot? Would be my question. If you're running through a hotspot, I would definitely check to see if your DMR net is green. If it is yellow, then you will need to go to Brandmeister and reset your hotspot security password, and then enter that into your hotspot and make sure you apply those changes. If you're going through a local machine, that could be a lot of different things. They could have changed the time slots, or they could actually have changed the local network itself. One of the local repeaters here was Brandmeister, and they just recently changed over to, I believe it was PRN. I believe. Don't hold that one to me yet. Let's see. Eric's got another one. The 2-tone setting is where you can put quick calls tones from my fire department. Yes, that is where you put them as long as you have them. If you have it 1 kilohertz off, the radio will not drop the squelch gate to allow the audio through. That was a self-learning experience for me. Had my guys hollering at me, why didn't you answer the page? Well, I didn't hear it. My radio didn't unmute. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, David, whenever you're doing code plug work, I always will tell you to save. You make a change, save that file. And then that way you may have, on mine, I've got probably close to 80 different code plugs that are mine. And the reason being is when I create my first one, like this one here, well, while I've got everybody on the same screen, I'm going to go ahead and just save this. That way everybody can see how I do it. Maybe it'll help you do yours as well. So it'll always come up as new. No matter how many times you create one, it'll always come up as new. The way I do mine, as you can see all of these others that are popping up, I always use my call sign. And then I do a period and that day that I do the program. So it's KD5YUZ and 9/28/2022. And once I have that, I'm going to save it. That way I know that today is when I made a change and I added another scan list. And this way I know in the future, if something happens, I can always write this one and I can still get back on the air while I'm trying to figure out what I did, where I messed up on the one I just wrote to the radio after this one. Farrell Brown, let's see here. Any way to do any batch editing with either CPS or RT systems? I've never used RT systems. I do know a couple of guys that do, and they said that it caused them a lot of grief writing to the AnyTone. But as personal knowledge, I've never used it. When you do batch editing, you can actually open up that CSV file in Excel and do changes that way. And then you're just going to have to save it and then import it back into the CPS. Let's see, Steve White. Not really a how-to question, but there any firmware updates on in the works? That's a good question, and that is one that's actually got me because we don't know until we get notified from the manufacturer if there is any, and or if there's any upcoming, or even what they may contain. This may be a bug this may be a bug in the code plug. I've seen download able code plugs, so many brand plans on the radio. Yeah, whenever you try to do import from other radios and their code plugs, you will have different band plans in them depending on the make. Most of your popular ones are going to have a standardized US band plan. If you get one that is in a Chinese band plan, it's going to be totally different. Same thing with the Europe. Band plan is going to be different. Jonathan has it right on point. You export, edit, and CSV there in the Excel, and then re-import it. Let's see here.
One thing to note, guys, when you modify it in the in Excel or like Google Sheets or something, you're going to need to reset the number on the side to be sequential, because if you have two that overlap, the second one will overwrite the first one, and it could make also a bunch of your channels not work properly in your zones. So make sure you guys do set the numbering properly.
Yeah, good point. Thanks for catching me on that one, Adam. Okay, I think here's a little bit more definition to David. Wants to know go from his radio is ham, his CPS is commercial. Okay, when you do that, you're going to have to come up here to the top. And when you click on model information, this will tell you what the radio is currently in. And if you're going to US amateur, it'll be number 7. And when you click this, it's going to tell you, hey, everything's going to be cleared. That's fine. That's what we're wanting. So now you do that. You're going to write that to the radio. Other data. Yeah, I forgot. Got ahead of my own self, guys. There's the radio ID. Let's make sure there's a zone. All right, now we're going to route it to the radio. Now, see how I did that? It come up band error because I've got mine in European mode still. But this band error fix that we covered tonight will help take care of that for you because you're making the radio see it and do the change. And that one is a good question. Adam, why is it our radios come to us in Europe mode?
That's actually sometimes it's the way that they're off of the line. Um, we do request them to be in amateur US. Sometimes it's just when they're testing off the line or they're doing different tests on the radios over at the manufacturer. They sometimes leave them in a different band, and we don't always reset them. So it's nothing intentional. It's just a few slip through the cracks like that and don't get actually programmed to the right band.
But David, if you have any other trouble with trying to get that converted over, give us a call tomorrow. Myself and one of the other techs will be more than happy to be able to do a remote session with you and get that taken care of. That way you're back into US Amateur. Okay.
Got 181 people in here right now.
I'm still shooting for 200. I mean, I gotta top you. You hit 200. I'm shooting for like 210, 220. Go big or go home, right?
Right? Well, make sure you guys stick around because our giveaway is coming up soon.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Richard's got a question. Program 3878s with the same code plug. Change the radio ID for each. Hotspot is public. 2 radios work, third would not. Any suggestions? Now, Richard, if you have more than one radio going into the same hotspot, even though it is public, that one radio that's got it linked, when you link that second one, it pretty much takes up the other spot. That third one's not going to be able to connect. That's a problem that I've found. And the only way that I can get around it is if I unlink one of the other radios. I want to say there may be something to do with the Raspberry, the way it works, and being able to transfer the data in RF. I don't know, Adam, do you have any more insight on that one?
No, I've noticed the same thing though. When I tried to use 3 radios on my hotspot, I had the same issue. And I think it's a limitation of the PyStar software, not being able to communicate with a bunch of radios simultaneously like a repeater. It's only supposed to be technically uses a gateway for 1 to 2 people, not like a group of people. Sometimes you can modify it, but I would not suggest going into the expert settings and trying to modify some of those settings to maybe do it because you can't screw up the the hotspot itself.
All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Any other ones that are on the list for this? My radio and code plug are different. How do I change my radio to agree with the CP? The way you do that one is you upgrade the firmware to the CPS. Whenever you download the file off of our site, it has the firmware in the same file as the CPS. If you're running version 2.05 firmware or CPS, we recommend you to run the same software. That goes for any of them that are on the site. And you can get those right here under the support tab. Over here on the right hand side where it says product support, there's the V2, the 878. And then it's also got the firmware right inside the file. If they match, you won't have any problems. If you're trying to use a CPS 205 and the firmware is a 201, you're going to get a headache. I can always tell, so can my family, when I'm sitting here programming mine and I start slamming things down and around. Never fails. I've got a 5-year-old granddaughter that comes in here and she's Papa's little shadow. She'll say, "Papa, did you mess up?" Kid's almost too smart for her own good half the time. Let's see here.
Now, just so you guys know, if Jeremy, click on General real quick. You you guys can see that first one under general right there is the live stream show notes. I'm not sure if it got posted yet for tonight, but they will be posted there. Yeah, it didn't get posted. So we do have show notes for tonight, and we will get those up by tomorrow. So at least you guys can access those show notes tomorrow and, access everything. But that is where you guys will find our show notes from here on out for all our BCU lives.
All right.
You ready to draw the winners?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get that.
All right. Let's draw this first one. It looks like we have 122 people that signed up. Now, this is for the BC Plus annual membership, and our winner is David KD5YUZ. Once again, that is David KD5YUZ.
All right, let's see if David's
Chicago,
in the
Illinois.
house.
David, you here?
I'm a looking.
All right, let's give him another minute. Let's see, congratulations, but I don't see him.
Exactly.
Guess we're gonna have a new winner here.
Apparently.
All right, let's give him another 30 seconds, and I'm going to draw a new winner.
Oh, come on, guys. He's got to still be in here somewheres.
All right, let's draw a new winner. And the winner is Travis KK7ILE. Travis KK7ILE. Is Travis here? Oh, Dave. Nope, David's here. Okay, David.
There he is right there.
Yep, there's David. And Travis, since we called you, we'll give you as well. We'll get both of you guys. So call us. We'll call us up on our tech line tomorrow, and we'll get you taken care of.
Give me a call. We'll get you hooked up.
Yep. So to our two winners, congratulations. We gave an extra one out tonight. And now for the 878, the moment you'd all been waiting for, Jonathan KD0ZTA. KD0ZTA. Jonathan, are you in the house?
All righty. Let's see here.
Glenn, that runtime error 339 is an actual Windows error. So you're going to want to look up what that Windows error is. Jonathan, is that you?
Jonathan, are you
Yep,
in the
that's him.
house?
That's him right here.
There he is.
Congratulations, Jonathan,
Hey!
on your brand new 878 radio.
There you go.
Call up our tech line tomorrow, and we'll make sure you get taken care of, and we get that sent out to you.
Bring it on. Bring it on. We'll get you hooked up.
Yep. Well, congratulations to all our winners.
All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good time and enjoyed this evening. I know I kind of breezed through it real quick. This is my first time doing it solo. Adam, thank you for jumping in and saying hi and helping out there towards the end of everything. I greatly
Of course.
appreciate it. And
You're always there for me.
well, I've never been on this side of it, having to do everything, and so my hat's off to you, sir. My hats is off to all of you that have joined. and bared with me through this. I'm sure most of y'all would probably rather listen to nails on a chalkboard or a bunch of cats getting skint instead of my voice. But once again, thank you uh, for tuning in and sticking with us. Uh, I hope this was able to give you some tools in your toolbox to be able to take care of the problem of band error. And we're always here if you ever have any trouble, questions, or even ideas for an upcoming show. Give us a call, shoot us an email, well, no, not send smoke signals. If it's windy, I may think you're stuttering, but let us know. We'll be more than happy to get the information that y'all are wanting on the video, because ultimately this is for you. This is what we're here for. We're here for your success, and not just ham radio, but also in DMR. With that said, I thank y'all for tuning in. Until next time, this is KD5YUZ and Adam, KN6QVG,
QGV.
QGV. I'm going to get that one of these days. But guys, I appreciate it. Hopefully we had some fun, and we'll catch you next week. Catch you on the flip side.
73, everyone.
73s.